Relationships. One of the hardest things you'll ever be a part of. One of the most rewarding and can be one of the most healing things that you'll ever be a part of in your life. Now, these are very, very touchy subjects, and there's a lot of information out there that, can go by the wayside and give you mixed signals. Before we jump in to have a look at some of the do's, don'ts, blah, 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 I want to take a moment to extend a big thank you to Everlast Therapy, with whom I partnered with for this video, to offer relationship training and therapy. I, as a healer and therapist, I can help with many of the physical and emotional issues that arise from the stresses that, couples or people face with relationships. There are times where I just can't solve some of those internal conflicts that you have with those relationships. So this is where Everlast Therapies come in. They cater to a diverse audience, ranging from the baby boomers to Gen X and Y and Z and everything else in between, regardless of your relationship status. Whether you're single, separated, unhappy in your relationship, married, or feeling frustrated with your partner. Their solutions include 2 workshops, one designed for men and the other for women, based on research and practical application. I've gone through the programs and I've really resonated with the results and examples. Use them and then started putting them into my own life. So if you're feeling confused about modern dating, which thankfully I'm married and oh my God, I don't think I would survive out there as an introvert that a lot of the times doesn't actually like people, or you've experienced infidelity in a relationship or constantly arguing or stop communicating and feeling distant altogether, they are here to help. Their programs will help you gain that clarity, control, confidence, most importantly, and personal power, along with that sense of meaning, purpose, and direction in your love life. They aim to help people find love, stay in love, prevent divorce. Let's be frank, as soon as something gets hard, that's what people are starting to go towards, and keep that family unit together. And as a special offer, we're providing 3 bonuses. So firstly, at the end of this video, there's a playlist with many more different videos covering all different types of relationship topics and solutions to some of those bigger issues, just to give you a jump start. Secondly, there's a link in the description box down below for a 45-minute video consisting of a podcast, a partial webinar, and 2 quizzes to test your knowledge and get your answers straight away, and there's no sign up required. And leaving the best until last, to gain full access to this complete program, we're giving you an extra bonus 20% off until the end of November, making it approximately half the regular price for these programs. So after watching this video, please check out the links down below for more information, and you'll find my special discount code there as well. So use HHC20% and you can gain 20% off, a further 20% off these amazing programs. Anyway, let's jump into the video. Relationships. Now they can suck. They can also be some of the best times you'll ever have with another person in your life. But what do we do about them, and where do we go for our information? Now this is less about actually solving those things and more about trusting in yourself. Now there's so much misinformation out there as well as really good stuff. But the thing is, some of that may not even apply to you and your relationship and your current partner and everything else as well, because everybody is different and it is a unique situation for all of it. But let's take a look at some of the things that are presented as matter-of-factly and where some of those issues arise in relationships. Now first, cap off the rank, go watch Boy's video on this guy. They did an excellent pull down, piss take, deconstruction of some of his videos. I'm talking of course about Think Before You Sleep. This guy, I'm just going to come right out and say it, I think has a very medium level of autism. It's very much what I say is law, everything is black and white, and always looks to find the most cherry-picked sort of things that are going to affirm his beliefs on women, on society, on dating.
No flowers on the first date, must be a social drink, and must never wear sweatpants.
This is Heather, and she has a list of over 50 requirements that she expects her boyfriend to have. Now, many of the women in the audience laugh at her during this segment, but...
So this is a guy who's obviously been tainted by a woman, whether they've cheated on him, whether his mum beat him, one of those things, and he just hasn't been able to get out of the basement since, and now hates women, or has very old-fashioned ideas about how a woman should be. Then we jump into other red pill things. So you've got Fresh and Fit and their inability to talk to women in a respectful way or meaningful way, or even on their own organised boat parties where they hire the models. They can't even speak to these women and they want no part of them. So, of course, they hate women and become high value men. They treat women like shit, basically. The woman is there to work for them at home while they go out and provide everything and more or less do whatever they want because they're high value men, and it's pathetic. It's a outdated thing. Like, everybody deserves equal rights. Let's just put that right there. No one in this day and age needs to conform to the old ideas, in my way of thinking. Now, if you believe that being the man, you need to go out and work, be the breadwinner, do all the things, be strong, provide for your family, blah, 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 and you find a wife that wants to be a homemaker, wants to cook, clean, do all the things around the house, and you're happy with that, more power to you. Well done in finding someone who matches your style and having, a conflict-free life. That's not so much the case. Everybody wants their own things. So, one of the biggest things with relationships is communication, of course. It's so hard sometimes because what if they come back with something, or we really feel that our needs aren't being met? If we communicate to our partner, and it doesn't have to be a yelling match, which so many people diverge into, if you make them assured that it's not about thinking less than that they've failed you or whatever else, because if you don't speak up, how is someone meant to know what you're feeling, no matter how well they know you? So assure them that you probably don't know this, and have your needs met, and you can actually talk about it in a reasonable manner without any resentment or anything else coming into it. Because that resentment then starts to kill and poison the relationship right from the bat. That's why then people stop talking to each other, they stop really communicating, and it just drives a huge wedge in between them, and people look for other things outside the relationship. Then we've got all the other things that come into relationships these days, polyamory, pansexuality, a whole bunch of stuff that is still very much in the minority, but it's so wild and out there and a new idea that it gets projected out right out in front of us. Now, is this inherently wrong? No. A lot of people get out of the whole traditional thing though, because it's been so ingrained in our society for so long. It really irks them or ruffles the tail feathers. When do we stop being able to let people do? I mean, we've never really been able to do it as a species, have we really? Let people do what they want to do if they're not hurting anybody else. Sure, if people want to sleep around with multiple partners and whatever else, and it doesn't hurt anyone, everybody's okay with it, more power to you. It really becomes an issue when you start sneaking behind someone's back, doing the infidelity thing. Then you need to have a good look at yourself and see, what is it that's causing you to do this? Is it more than likely a look at yourself that you don't measure up, that you can't provide, that you need to do this because there's something lacking in you? 9 times out of 10, that's what it is. Because if you're content and you are with the right partner, a lot of things won't be an issue, but everything will be. So communication, absolutely key. Talk about your boundaries, what you want in a relationship, and where you're going. And if an issue rises up, actually say something before it goes somewhere. Full disclosure, with my marriage, it's almost hit a rocky patch because we never spent time together. I work a lot. I work 11-hour days some days, like sometimes 6 days a week. Then we don't have a lot of the same interests, which keeps things actually interesting too. And we don't have a lot of the same friend groups or anything like that. And hell, I'm an introvert, she's an extrovert. I don't want to go anywhere. She does. And because I'm not home a lot of the time because I'm at work, she'll go out and whatever else. And it was getting to a stage where I didn't know whether I'd come home about 8 p.m. at night, whether I would have anything to eat or the meal prepared for me, like a good wife should do. I didn't know what she was doing. Then, we wouldn't communicate about what we were doing. It just wouldn't happen. And it led to a lot of resentment in me, like, what's the point in being married if we're not seeing each other? I get up early, go to the gym, and then we both have a little bit of time together in the morning before we go off on our separate ways for work, and then who knows when we'll actually see each other. That was annoying, and we had a chat. There are some tears involved and everything else, but we're working on it. Marriage is going to be a continual work. A relationship should be, as much as it would be nice if it wasn't, continual work together on the same goals for the same things. So you need to have those goals, that thing to work towards. Like, what do you want? If it's not what you and your partner are aiming towards, then maybe you need to reevaluate whether you actually are with the right person or not. Other things that come out with relationships as well, weight. Relationship weight is a real thing. The more comfy you get with someone, the more you sort of sit down and stop doing or stop trying to work on yourself, because now, why should I have found someone I'm happy, and that sort of comes along, and as do the health risks. Now, we both have a little bit of a sweet tooth and we both do love food. I am a really, really terrible role model for that sort of thing, because if I see something nice, I want it, and I can drop weight pretty easily. So the people around me, mostly my mum and my wife, can't say much. I know I've got to work on that. I've got to set that boundary that maybe I don't need all of that food and all that other stuff as well. Maybe we need to do more walks. Maybe we need to do more things together as a couple, but working towards our consistent goal of weight loss. Because we were very healthy and fit before our wedding. Well, before COVID, actually, and before all that sort of stuff happened. 2, you need to reevaluate yourself, because then another issue that's sort of come up is that wife has put on a little bit of weight, and so she feels a little bit less attractive, and that's caused all sort of intimacy issues and stuff as well. So it's a harder one to sort of navigate. She's still more or less the same sort of person. We're both growing over the decade that we've been together, and that's going to be a part 2. Growing and changing. People will not stay the same. Whether it be a new job that leads to new experiences, that leads to a new friend group, that leads to other bits and pieces coming in and causing those little changes. Whether it be a new activity, a new sport, or just getting older, maturing, and your tastes changing. That is something to be aware of. They're not going to be the person that you met. I think Amy was about 19 or so when we met, something around that age. So we will not be the same person. It's been over a decade. We've had multiple, pretty well life-changing experiences that we've experienced more or less together and apart. When I met her, I went away for 6 months with the army. So that is, of course, going to change someone. Be aware that changes will happen. It's pretty inevitable. Tastes will change. I was pretty hell-bent on heavy metal being the only thing ever, and I've opened myself wide up to a whole range of things. You know, that could be influenced by her because she can't actually stand heavy metal. It makes her physically sick. I've had to adapt that and compromise. And there are going to be compromises. Of course, listen to heavy metal when I'm in the car alone and whatever else, and I scream and yell and do all the mad stuff and headbang and whatever else. Around the house, you're going to have to compromise. I've seen so many people so stuck in their ways, they're so rigid, and then they wonder why people will leave them. Because if you can't bend a little bit to suit that piece, that puzzle piece coming to you, you're going to just keep hitting yourself up against this wall. Or they're going to be hitting up against your wall sort of thing, and that gets tiring. So be better. But anyway guys, that's a whole bunch on relationships and stuff. So what are your takeaways on this? What more have you got to add about relationships? Remember to like, share, comment, subscribe. Leave a comment down below. I'm Rob Murphy, and I'll see you in the next video.